We're finding breakout players for all 32 teams. Continuing on with the AFC West, we have Marvin Mims, and Mims is a bright spot on a pretty depleted roster for the Broncos. If you're a Denver fan, there's not much to be excited about outside of Bo Nix. You're really trusting in the Oregon kids, and with obviously Bo throwing to Troy Franklin, his former collegiate wide receiver. Marvin Mims was somebody who caught my eye last year, actually made the Pro Bowl as a returner, if I remember correctly. But talented kid out of Oklahoma, was a day two pick. There's something there. I thought that he was a little bit underused last year. Cortland Sutton, whether he ends up being traded or kept, I think Mims should see his workload raise and elevate quite considerably. And with that, the Broncos have just signed standout guard/center Quinn Meinerz to a new deal. Denver continues to just invest heavy in the offensive line. They already have shelled out big contracts to Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey. Garrett Bowles obviously on his second contract as well. Denver really trying to build inside out. That is the way to do it. We just finished wrapping up what I believe is episode 40 of the podcast, and at the conclusion, we identified some possible cut candidates either for the training camp or preseason, and what I said was basically any running back who's not on his rookie deal that has a cap hit over $1 million is in danger, because running backs, you know, if you know, you know. And one of those running backs includes Alexander Madison. Zamir White is pictured ahead above me right now. I think this guy is 10 times more explosive. I think that this guy is better outside of the backfield in terms of receiving ability. I actually think he's a sleeper. I could see him becoming a bell cow. Alexander Madison, in the meantime, he had his chance last year with Dalvin Cook gone and was awful. He fumbled the chance, literally, pun intended. Dude was atrocious. Averaged less than 4 yards per carry, had a clear fumbling issue, and did not find the end zone once. Zamir White should have no problem taking him over. Shout out real quick to Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer, I loved him coming out of Notre Dame. I think he's your typical possession tight end, similar to a Heath Miller, similar to a Jason Witten. The Raiders could find a way to make this work. There is a way to do this right. They obviously drafted Brock Bowers in the first round, seemingly negating their high second-round pick from a season ago, Mayer. Like I said, there's a way for them to feature the offense around Brock Bowers and still give Michael Mayer starting time. Will that happen? I doubt it. It's a new regime. They're basically on their second GM since Mayer was drafted, because Champ Kelly, I forget his name, but it was somebody with the last name Kelly was the interim GM last season after Dave Ziegler got fired. Now it's obviously Tom Telesco, so that was almost 2 regimes ago. Michael Mayer probably going to fall by the wayside, but I'm still holding out a little bit of hope that he ends up being productive. Another breakout player in the AFC that we mentioned was Travon Walker of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And one thing I mentioned when talking about him was people probably don't realize that he did hit the 10-sack threshold last season. George Karlaftis is another one. This guy actually from the same draft class was picked at the end of the first round out of Purdue, I believe, and no one really talked about him. He had a pretty good rookie year, and then last year was really good. I'm expecting him to take that next step up and hopefully receive a lot of recognition, one of the more underrated pieces of that Chiefs dynasty. This one might not be a breakout to some, but J.K. Dobbins, I'm really hoping this guy can finally put together a full healthy season. I maintain my argument that he has top 10 running back potential. Problem is, he has like some of the worst knees I've ever seen in my life. So a real one would be Asante Samuel Jr. He's been in the league for a few years now, still just 24 years old. Similar traits to his dad in terms of long arms, great ball skills. And I don't know, I'm just high on this Chargers team overall. I think that the culture change brought on by Jim Harbaugh is really just going to benefit the whole entire roster. So those are my AFC West breakout players. Let me know who you guys want to do next.